Hello, my beautiful friend. I want you to know that you are so welcome here today. Right now, in this very moment, you are exactly where you need to be. I see you, and I feel the courage it took for you to be here, ready to explore something that touches the very core of our daily lives, our relationship with money. I know that money can feel like such a heavy topic. It brings up so many feelings, doesn't it? Fear, worry, frustration, maybe even shame. Perhaps you've been struggling financially for what feels like forever. Maybe you work hard, really hard, but the money just doesn't seem to stick around. Or perhaps you have money, but you're constantly worried about losing it, constantly stressed about not having enough. Some of you might feel guilty about wanting more money, like it makes you selfish or greedy. Whatever brought you here today, whatever your current financial situation looks like, I want you to know that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not bad with money. You are not destined to struggle forever. What's happening is simply that you're operating from old programming, old beliefs that were never really yours to begin with. And today we're going to start changing all of that. Money is such an interesting thing, isn't it? It's really just pieces of paper and numbers on screens, yet it has the power to make us feel so many different ways. It can make us feel safe or scared, powerful or powerless, worthy or worthless. But here's what I've learned after decades of helping people heal their lives. Money itself is neutral. It's not good or bad. It's simply energy. And like all energy, it responds to our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs about it. Right now, you might be thinking that sounds too simple, or maybe even a little silly. How can changing thoughts change bank accounts? But stay with me, because what I'm sharing with you has transformed the lives of millions of people around the world. The truth is, everything in our external world is a reflection of our internal world. Every relationship, every health condition, every financial situation is showing us what we believe to be true about ourselves and life. The beautiful news is that once we understand this connection, we can begin to change everything. We can start to heal those old wounds, release those limiting beliefs, and create space for abundance to flow into our lives naturally and easily. This isn't about positive thinking or pretending everything is fine when it's not. This is about doing the real work of healing our relationship with money from the inside out. I want you to breathe with me for a moment. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just let yourself be here. Let yourself be open to the possibility that things can be different. Let yourself imagine, just for a moment, what it would feel like to have a peaceful, loving relationship with money. What would it feel like to trust that you always have enough? What would it feel like to receive money easily and gracefully? Hold that feeling for just a moment, because that feeling is pointing you toward your truth. You see, dear one, the universe wants you to prosper. Life wants you to thrive. There is more than enough abundance for everyone, including you. If that feels hard to believe right now, that's perfectly okay. We're going to work together to heal whatever is blocking you from receiving all the good that life wants to give you. Now let's talk about where our money beliefs come from, because understanding this is the first step toward freedom. Every single one of us learned about money long before we could even count. We absorbed messages about money from our families, our communities, our cultures, starting from the time we were tiny children. These early experiences created patterns in our minds that still run our financial lives today, often without us even realizing it. Think about the home you grew up in. What was the energy around money like? Was it discussed openly and positively, or was it a source of stress and arguing? Maybe money was never talked about at all, creating a sense of mystery or shame around it. Perhaps you heard phrases like "money doesn't grow on trees," or "we can't afford that," or "rich people are greedy," or "good people don't care about money." These innocent comments from well-meaning adults became the foundation of your money beliefs. Sometimes the messages weren't even spoken. Children are incredibly sensitive to energy. If the adults around you were stressed, worried, or fearful about money, you felt that energy and absorbed it as truth. If you witnessed arguments about money, you might have decided that money causes problems in relationships. If you saw your parents work really hard but still struggle, you might have concluded that making money has to be difficult and exhausting. Many people grew up in families where there truly wasn't enough money for basic needs. If this was your experience, you might have learned to live in survival mode, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. You might have developed a deep fear of spending money, even on things you need, because scarcity feels safer than abundance. Your nervous system learned to be alert for financial danger, and it's still protecting you in that same way today. On the other hand, some people grew up in families where money was plentiful but came with strings attached. Maybe love and money got tangled up together. Perhaps you learned that your worth was tied to how much you achieved or earned. Maybe you discovered that money could be used to control or manipulate others. These experiences can create just as much healing work around abundance. There are also the cultural and religious messages about money that many of us carry. Some spiritual traditions teach that money is the root of all evil, or that being poor is more virtuous than being wealthy. These beliefs can create a terrible internal conflict when we desire financial security but feel guilty or wrong for wanting it. We might unconsciously sabotage our financial success to stay aligned with what we think is spiritually correct. The fascinating thing about these early money patterns is that they often get passed down through generations without anyone even realizing it. If your grandmother lived through the Great Depression, that energy of lack and fear might still be running through your family line. If your ancestors experienced poverty or financial trauma, those cellular memories can influence your money patterns today. This isn't about blame or making anyone wrong. It's about understanding so we can heal and create something new. Sometimes people discover that their money struggles mirror their parents' patterns exactly, even when they consciously tried to do things differently. Others find themselves in the opposite extreme, maybe becoming workaholics or money hoarders as a reaction to growing up with financial instability. Both responses are just different ways of dealing with the same underlying wounds. The beautiful thing about recognizing these patterns is that once we see them clearly, we can begin to choose something different. We can honor where these beliefs came from, while also acknowledging that they may not serve us anymore. We can have compassion for our younger selves who made these decisions and for the adults who passed these patterns down to us, while still choosing to create new patterns for ourselves and future generations. Right now, your money beliefs are probably so automatic that you don't even notice them. They run in the background of your mind like software, influencing every financial decision you make. But as you begin to pay attention, you'll start to catch these thoughts in action. You'll notice when you automatically assume something is too expensive, or when you feel guilty for spending money on yourself, or when you expect financial disappointment. This awareness is the beginning of transformation. Every time you catch an old money belief in action, you have a choice. You can continue to operate from that old programming, or you can pause and ask yourself, is this actually true? Does this belief serve me? What would I choose to believe instead? This is how we begin to reclaim our power around money. Now, let's explore something that goes even deeper than our learned beliefs about money: the connection between our self-worth and our financial worth. This connection is so profound and so fundamental that healing it can literally transform your entire financial reality overnight. Here's what I've observed after working with thousands of people. Our outer financial life is always a perfect mirror of our inner sense of worth. when we truly value ourselves, when we believe we deserve good things, when we treat ourselves with love and respect, money flows to us naturally. When we don't feel worthy, when we believe we don't deserve abundance, when we treat ourselves poorly, money struggles to reach us. This isn't about punishment or reward from some external force. It's about energy and vibration. Everything in the universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Money is energy. You are energy. When your energy vibrates at the frequency of unworthiness, you literally cannot receive money easily because you're not a vibrational match for it. It would be like trying to tune into a radio station. If you're not on the right frequency, you can't receive the signal clearly. Many of us learn to equate our value with external things, our achievements, our appearance, our bank account, other people's approval. This creates a terrible trap because our sense of worth becomes dependent on things that are always changing. When we achieve something, we feel good about ourselves temporarily, but then we need to achieve more to maintain that feeling. When we look good, we feel worthy, but then we age or gain weight and our worth plummets. When we have money, we feel valuable, but then we spend some and immediately feel insecure again. This conditional self-worth is exhausting, and it keeps us stuck in patterns of financial struggle. When we only feel worthy when we have money, we create desperate energy around getting it. Desperation actually repels money because it comes from fear and lack rather than love and abundance. When we feel unworthy when we don't have money, we create shame and contraction, which also blocks financial flow. The healing begins when we understand that our worth has absolutely nothing to do with our financial situation. You were born worthy. You were worthy when you were a tiny baby with no achievements, no money, no ability to earn approval from anyone. That inherent worth has never changed, even for a moment, regardless of what you've done or not done, what you've achieved or not achieved, what you've earned or not earned. This can be a radical concept for many people because we live in a society that constantly tells us we need to earn our worth through productivity, success, and accumulation. But the truth is, your worth is built into the very fabric of your being. You are worthy because you exist. You are valuable because you are alive. You deserve abundance because you are part of an abundant universe. When people begin to really understand this truth, their entire relationship with money starts to shift. Instead of chasing money from a place of, I need this to prove I'm valuable, they begin to receive money from a place of, I am valuable, and money is one of the ways the universe supports valuable people. Can you feel the difference in those two energies? This shift from earning worth to embodying worth changes everything about how we handle money. When we feel inherently worthy, we naturally make choices that honor our value. We charge fair prices for our work. We don't overspend to try to fill an emotional void. We don't hoard money out of fear that we'll never get more. We don't waste money trying to prove our worth to others. We handle money from a place of self-respect and wisdom. Many people have been programmed to believe that wanting money is selfish or shallow. They've been taught that spiritual people shouldn't care about material things, or that good people should be satisfied with less. These beliefs create enormous internal conflict and keep us stuck in financial limitation. But here's what I know to be true. Wanting to be financially comfortable and secure is not selfish. It's self-loving. Desiring abundance is not shallow. It's natural. Caring about your financial well-being is not unspiritual. It's practical wisdom. When you have your financial needs met, you're free to give more to others. When you're not constantly worried about money, you can focus your energy on creating, contributing, and serving. When you model healthy abundance, you give others permission to prosper too. There is nothing virtuous about financial struggle, and there is nothing wrong with financial ease. The transformation happens when we begin to treat ourselves with the same love and respect that we would offer to someone we deeply care about. When we make financial decisions from love rather than fear. When we choose investments, purchases, and financial goals that reflect our true worth rather than our insecurities. When we handle money as carefully and thoughtfully as we would handle anything precious, which we are. This inner shift from unworthiness to worthiness doesn't usually happen overnight, but it can begin right now, in this moment, with a simple decision. The decision to start treating yourself as if you are worthy of abundance. The decision to start making choices that honor your value. The decision to stop accepting less than you deserve because you believe that's all you're worth. Now that we understand how deeply our self-worth affects our money flow, it's time to do some gentle but powerful release work. Think of this as clearing out an old closet that's been stuffed with things you no longer need. Some of these items might have sentimental value, some might be things you thought you should keep, and some might be things you've been holding on to out of habit. But in order to make room for beautiful new clothes, you need to let go of what no longer fits or serves you. The same is true with our money beliefs and patterns. Right now, your mind is probably holding on to dozens of limiting beliefs about money that you inherited, absorbed, or decided upon based on past experiences. These beliefs are taking up valuable mental and emotional space that could be used for abundance and prosperity. But here's the beautiful thing: you get to choose what to keep and what to release. Let's start by identifying some of the specific limiting beliefs that might be running in your subconscious mind. As I share these, notice which ones feel familiar, which ones create a little tension in your body, or which ones you immediately want to defend or justify. These physical responses are your inner wisdom telling you where there's work to be done. Perhaps you believe that making money requires hard work and struggle. Maybe you've been told that if something comes easily, it's not valuable or legitimate. This belief keeps you trapped in exhausting patterns, always pushing and forcing instead of allowing money to flow naturally. Or maybe you believe that there's not enough money to go around, that if you have more, someone else has to have less. This scarcity thinking creates competition and fear instead of collaboration and trust. Some people carry the belief that money changes people in negative ways, that wealth makes you greedy, selfish, or corrupt. If you hold this belief unconsciously, you'll sabotage your financial success to protect your character and relationships. Others believe that they don't deserve money because of past mistakes, failures, or things they're ashamed of. This guilt keeps them stuck in financial punishment long after they've learned and grown from their experiences. There might be beliefs about your capabilities, that you're not smart enough, talented enough, or lucky enough to be financially successful, or beliefs about your background, that people like you don't become wealthy, that success is only for certain types of people, that you need special education or connections to prosper. These limiting beliefs about your potential create invisible barriers that feel very real but are actually completely made up. Now, I want you to understand something important about these beliefs. They are not facts, even though they might feel true to you. They are simply thoughts that have been thought so many times that they've become automatic. And just like you learned these thoughts, you can unlearn them. Just like you picked up these beliefs, you can put them down. The first step in releasing these patterns is to acknowledge them with compassion. These beliefs didn't develop to hurt you, they developed to protect you. At some point in your life, these beliefs served a purpose. Maybe believing that money was scarce helped you be more careful during a difficult time. Maybe believing that you didn't deserve abundance protected you from disappointment. Maybe believing that money was dangerous kept you from taking risks that felt too scary. But now, these protective beliefs have become prison walls. What once served you is now limiting you, and that's okay. This is how healing works. We outgrow old strategies and develop new ones. We honor what got us through difficult times while choosing what will help us thrive in new times. Forgiveness is such a powerful tool for releasing old money patterns. Many of us are carrying anger, resentment, or blame about past financial experiences. Maybe someone took advantage of you financially. Maybe you made a poor investment or business decision that cost you dearly. Maybe your parents didn't teach you healthy money habits, or maybe they passed down their own financial wounds to you. This anger and resentment, while completely understandable, is like carrying heavy bags while trying to run a race. It slows you down and exhausts you. When we hold on to financial anger, we're energetically tied to the very experiences we want to move beyond. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what happened was okay, and it doesn't mean you have to trust those people again. Forgiveness means you're choosing to free yourself from the energy of those past experiences so you can create something new. Sometimes the person we most need to forgive is ourselves. Self-forgiveness around money can be the most challenging, but also the most liberating work we do. Maybe you've made financial mistakes that you're still beating yourself up about. Maybe you've been irresponsible with money in the past, or maybe you've been too fearful to take beneficial financial risks. Maybe you've wasted opportunities or made choices that you now regret. Here's what I want you to know. Everyone has made financial mistakes. Everyone has missed opportunities. Everyone has made choices they later wished they'd made differently. These experiences don't make you bad or stupid or unworthy of abundance. They make you human, and more importantly, they make you wiser. Every financial mistake you've made has taught you something valuable. Every lost opportunity has redirected you towards something better. Every poor choice has strengthened your ability to make better choices in the future. When you can see your past financial experiences as learning opportunities rather than failures, you transform the energy around them completely. The shame and guilt that many people carry about money creates a heavy, dense energy that actually repels abundance. Shame tells the universe, I don't deserve good things because I'm bad. Guilt says, I shouldn't have abundance because I've made mistakes. These energies create contraction in your energy field, making it difficult for money to flow to you. But when you release shame and guilt through forgiveness, you create expansion in your energy field. You open up space for new experiences, new opportunities, and new abundance. You shift from the energy of, I don't deserve this, to I'm ready to receive. This shift can happen quickly once you make the decision to forgive and release. As you begin to let go of these old patterns, you might notice some resistance. Part of your mind might want to hold on to familiar beliefs, even painful ones, because they feel safe and known. This is perfectly normal. Change, even positive change, can feel threatening to the parts of us that value security and predictability. Be gentle with yourself during this process. You don't have to release everything at once. You can take your time and let go of what you're ready to release when you're ready to release it. Creating space for new possibilities is like cleaning out that closet I mentioned earlier. Once you've removed the old clothes that no longer fit, you can see clearly what you have and what you might want to add. The same thing happens when you release old money beliefs. You create mental and emotional space for new, more supportive beliefs to take root. This is where the real magic begins to happen. As you clear out limiting beliefs, you naturally begin to notice new possibilities that were always there but were hidden by your old programming. You might start to see opportunities that you previously dismissed or didn't think you qualified for. You might begin to trust your intuition about financial decisions in ways you never have before. You might find yourself taking inspired action that leads to unexpected income or savings. Now that we've created space by releasing what no longer serves us, it's time to consciously choose what we want to believe about money instead. This is where we begin the beautiful work of rewiring our money mindset from the inside out. Think of this as installing new software in your mental computer, software that's designed to support abundance, prosperity, and financial peace rather than struggle, lack, and worry. The first thing to understand about rewiring your money mindset is that your subconscious mind is always listening to your thoughts and taking them as instructions for what to create in your life. It doesn't judge whether your thoughts are good or bad, helpful or harmful. It simply works to manifest whatever you think about most consistently. This means that every thought you think about money is either supporting your abundance or supporting your limitation. Most people have been unconsciously programming their subconscious mind for lack and limitation without even realizing it. They think thoughts like, "I can't afford that," or "money is so tight," or "I'll never get ahead," dozens of times per day. Their subconscious mind hears these thoughts and works diligently to create experiences that match them. The good news is that you can reprogram your subconscious mind just as easily in the opposite direction. This is where affirmations become such a powerful tool, but not in the way that many people think. Affirmations aren't magic spells that instantly change your reality. They're tools for gradually shifting your mental programming from thoughts that limit you to thoughts that empower you. The key is to choose affirmations that feel good to you, that you can believe on some level, and that create expansion rather than contraction in your energy. When you say an affirmation like, "Money flows to me easily and effortlessly," pay attention to how it feels in your body. If it creates lightness, expansion, or even just curiosity, then it's a good affirmation for you to work with. If it creates tension, resistance, or a feeling of "yeah, right," then it might be too much of a stretch from where you currently are. In that case, you might start with something gentler like, "I am open to receiving money in new ways," or "I am learning to trust that there is enough for me." The most powerful affirmations are ones that address your specific limiting beliefs. If you've been programmed to believe that making money requires struggle, you might work with affirmations like, "I allow money to come to me with ease and joy," or "Making money can be fun and fulfilling." If you've believed that you don't deserve abundance, you might affirm, "I deserve all the good things life has to offer," or "I am worthy of financial prosperity." But affirmations are just one part of rewiring your money mindset. Equally important is developing a practice of gratitude around money and abundance. Gratitude is like a magnet for more good things. When you appreciate what you have, you send a signal to the universe that you recognize and value abundance, and the universe responds by sending you more to appreciate. Many people struggle with money gratitude because they're focused on what they don't have rather than what they do have. But when you begin to look for evidence of abundance in your life, you'll be amazed at how much you find. You might have food in your refrigerator, a roof over your head, clothes to wear, and access to clean water. These are tremendous abundances that billions of people around the world don't have. You might also have abundance in non-financial areas that can help you appreciate the flow of good things in your life. Maybe you have loving relationships, good health, creative talents, or access to education and information. When you acknowledge abundance in any area of your life, you strengthen your overall abundance vibration, which affects every area, including money. Even in your financial life, there are probably evidences of abundance that you might be overlooking. Maybe someone bought you lunch recently, or you found $1 on the street, or you received an unexpected refund. Maybe a friend gave you something that saved you money, or you got a good deal on something you needed. These might seem like small things, but they're all examples of money and abundance flowing to you. The practice is to notice these instances of financial abundance, no matter how small, and feel genuine appreciation for them. When you thank the universe for the $5 you found in an old coat pocket with the same enthusiasm you would thank it for $5,000, you're training your mind to recognize and celebrate abundance at every level. This shift from scarcity thinking to abundance thinking is perhaps the most important transformation you can make in your relationship with money. Scarcity thinking focuses on lack, limitation, and not having enough. It creates anxiety, hoarding, and competition. Abundance thinking focuses on flow, possibility, and more than enough for everyone. It creates peace, generosity, and collaboration. When you operate from scarcity thinking, you make decisions based on fear. You might stay in jobs you don't like because you're afraid you won't find anything better. You might avoid spending money on things that would improve your life because you're worried about not having enough. You might feel jealous or resentful when others succeed financially because you believe their success somehow threatens yours. But when you operate from abundance thinking, you make decisions based on possibility and wisdom. You might leave a job that doesn't serve you because you trust that something better is available. You might invest in yourself, your education, or your business because you believe in your ability to create returns. You might celebrate others' financial success because you understand that we live in an abundant universe where everyone can prosper. This shift doesn't usually happen overnight, but it can begin with a simple decision to look for evidence of abundance rather than evidence of lack. Throughout your day, you can ask yourself questions like, where do I see abundance in this situation? Or, what is working well in my financial life right now? Or, how is the universe supporting me today? These questions will train your mind to notice abundance that was always there but was previously invisible to you. Now that we're beginning to think differently about money, it's time to explore one of the most important aspects of creating financial abundance: learning how to receive. This might sound simple, but for many people, receiving money and abundance is actually much more challenging than they realize. We live in a culture that emphasizes giving, working, and earning, but very little attention is paid to the art of graceful receiving. Think about the last time someone tried to give you a compliment, pick up a check at dinner, or offer you help with something. Did you accept gracefully, or did you deflect, argue, or immediately try to reciprocate? Many people are much more comfortable being the giver than the receiver because receiving can feel vulnerable, obligating, or even selfish. But here's what's fascinating. The universe operates on the principle of circulation. Energy must flow in and out to stay healthy and alive. When you block the flow in one direction, you eventually block it in both directions. If you can't receive well, you actually limit your ability to give well too. The people who are the most generous givers are usually also the most graceful receivers because they understand that giving and receiving are two sides of the same flow. Many of us learned early in life that receiving makes us vulnerable or obligated to others. Maybe you learned that accepting help meant you were weak or needy. Maybe you discovered that gifts sometimes came with strings attached, so it felt safer to be self-sufficient. Maybe you were taught that good people should be grateful for whatever they get and shouldn't ask for more. These protective strategies might have served you in certain situations, but they can seriously limit your ability to receive abundance from the universe. When you deflect compliments, you're telling the universe that you don't value positive feedback. When you argue with generosity, you're signaling that you're not comfortable receiving good things. When you immediately try to pay people back for their kindness, you're interrupting the natural flow of giving and receiving. Learning to receive gracefully is a practice that can transform your entire relationship with abundance. It starts with small things, really letting in a compliment instead of deflecting it, accepting help when it's offered instead of insisting you can handle everything yourself, saying thank you instead of you shouldn't have when someone does something nice for you. As you practice receiving small abundances gracefully, you prepare yourself to receive larger abundances gracefully too. The universe is always offering us gifts, opportunities, ideas, people, resources, money. But if we're not open to receive them, they flow right past us to someone who is ready and willing to accept them. Part of becoming a good receiver is releasing the belief that you have to earn or deserve everything you get. While it's wonderful to contribute value and work toward your goals, the universe doesn't operate like a strict accounting system where you only get back exactly what you put in. Sometimes you receive windfalls that seem completely unearned. Sometimes opportunities come to you simply because you're in the right place at the right time. Sometimes people want to help you just because they can. This is the universe's way of caring for you, and fighting against it or feeling guilty about it actually dishonors the gift. When you can say thank you for unexpected abundance without immediately trying to figure out why you deserve it or how you'll pay it back, you stay in harmony with the natural flow of life. Another important aspect of learning to receive is recognizing that abundance comes in many forms, not just money. The universe might send you exactly what you need through a friend's offer to help, a book that contains perfect information, a person who connects you to an opportunity or a solution that appears just when you need it most. When you're only looking for abundance in the form of cash, you might miss the many other ways that life is trying to support you. The energy of receiving is also closely connected to the energy of allowing. When you're constantly pushing, forcing, and trying to make things happen through sheer willpower, you're actually working against the natural flow of abundance. While inspired action is important, there's also a time to step back and allow the universe to work on your behalf. This allowing energy is what makes you magnetic to opportunities, people, and resources. When you're relaxed and open, you're much more likely to notice the signs, synchronicities, and possibilities that are always around you. When you're tense and controlling, you might miss these gifts entirely because you're too focused on making your predetermined plan work in your predetermined way. Becoming a magnet for financial opportunities is really about aligning your energy with the frequency of abundance and then staying open to how that abundance wants to manifest in your life. Sometimes it might come through your existing work or business. Sometimes it might come through a completely unexpected source. Sometimes it might come through what initially looks like a problem or challenge, but turns out to be a disguised gift. The key is to cultivate an energy of openness, curiosity, and trust while still taking practical action toward your financial goals. It's a beautiful dance between effort and ease, between doing and being, between planning and flowing. When you find this balance, you'll discover that creating abundance becomes much more joyful and much less stressful than you ever thought possible. Now that you're beginning to open yourself to receiving abundance, it's time to explore the daily practices that will keep this new energy flowing consistently in your life. Think of these practices as tending a beautiful garden. You wouldn't plant seeds and then ignore them for months, expecting them to flourish on their own. Your abundance mindset needs the same kind of gentle, consistent care to grow strong and bear fruit. The morning hours are particularly powerful for setting your financial tone for the entire day. How you think and feel about money in those first few moments after waking up influences every financial decision and opportunity that comes your way. Many people wake up and immediately start worrying about bills, deadlines, or financial problems. This sends a signal to the universe that you're operating from fear and lack, and the universe responds by sending you experiences that match that energy. Instead, you can begin each day by consciously choosing thoughts that align you with abundance. Before you even get out of bed, take a few moments to feel grateful for the comfortable place you have to sleep. appreciate the roof over your head, the warmth of your blankets, the gift of another day to create and receive good things. These simple acknowledgments shift your energy from taking things for granted to recognizing the abundance that already surrounds you. As you move through your morning routine, you can continue to look for evidence of prosperity and abundance. Maybe you have hot water for your shower, coffee or tea to drink, food for breakfast. Maybe you have clothes to choose from, a car that starts, or access to public transportation. Each of these things represents abundance, and acknowledging them trains your mind to expect good things rather than problems. One of the most powerful daily practices you can develop is what I call money appreciation time. This is a few minutes each day where you consciously appreciate any money that has flowed to or through your life recently. You might appreciate your paycheck, a refund you received, money you found in a pocket, or even money you were able to spend on something you needed or enjoyed. The key is to feel genuine appreciation for money as a helpful tool and ally in your life. Many people have been taught to think about money with stress, worry, or resentment. They dread paying bills, feel anxious about spending money, or get upset when they have to part with cash. But what if you could transform these daily money interactions into opportunities to practice abundance thinking? What if paying bills became a celebration of your ability to exchange money for services that improve your life? What if spending money became an acknowledgement of the prosperity that allows you to purchase what you need and want? This shift in perspective can transform even the most mundane financial tasks into abundance practices. When you write a check for your mortgage or rent, you can appreciate having a beautiful place to live. When you buy groceries, you can feel grateful for the abundance of food available to you. When you fill up your car with gas, you can appreciate the freedom and mobility that vehicle provides. These simple shifts in thinking create a completely different energy around money. Creating a prosperity consciousness also involves paying attention to how you speak about money throughout the day. Your words have tremendous power to either support or sabotage your abundance. When you say things like, "I can't afford that," or "money is so tight," or "I'm broke," you're programming your subconscious mind for lack and limitation. These casual comments might seem harmless, but they're actually powerful affirmations that work against your prosperity. Instead, you can choose language that supports abundance even when you're making practical financial decisions. Instead of "I can't afford that," you might say, "I'm choosing to spend my money elsewhere right now." Instead of "I'm broke," you might say, "I'm being selective with my spending this week." Instead of "money is tight," you might say, "I'm focusing on my priorities right now." These subtle changes in language maintain your sense of choice and abundance even when you're being financially cautious. Another beautiful daily practice is to look for signs that the universe is supporting your financial well-being. These signs might be small: finding a penny on the sidewalk, receiving an unexpected discount, getting a free sample at the grocery store, or discovering that something you need is on sale. They might be larger: receiving an unexpected check, getting a raise or bonus, or having someone offer to pay for something you were planning to purchase. The size doesn't matter as much as your willingness to recognize and appreciate these gifts. When you begin to notice these signs of financial support, you'll be amazed at how frequently they occur. The universe is constantly sending you small demonstrations of abundance, but most people are too focused on problems and lack to notice them. As you train yourself to look for evidence of prosperity, you'll find more and more of it, which strengthens your abundance vibration and attracts even more good things. Gratitude practices can be woven throughout your entire day, not just during special meditation times. When you receive money in any form, whether it's your salary, a gift, a refund, or even finding change in your couch cushions, take a moment to say thank you with genuine feeling. When you're able to spend money on something you need or want, appreciate your ability to exchange money for value. When you see others experiencing abundance, celebrate their good fortune instead of feeling envious or left out. End each day by reviewing the financial abundance that flowed to or through your life, no matter how small. Maybe you earned money from your work, saved money with a coupon, received free advice that was valuable, or had someone treat you to lunch. Maybe you were able to pay your bills on time, had enough gas to get where you needed to go, or found something you needed at a price you could afford. These daily acknowledgments of abundance, consistently practiced over time, create a powerful shift in your overall money consciousness. As your abundance mindset grows stronger through these daily practices, you'll naturally begin to notice opportunities and possibilities that were always there but were previously invisible to you. This is where the beautiful dance between spiritual practice and practical action begins. You've been preparing the soil of your consciousness to receive abundance, and now it's time to plant some seeds through inspired action. The key word here is inspired. There's a significant difference between action that comes from fear, desperation, or force, and action that comes from inner guidance, excitement, and flow. When you take action from fear, you often end up spinning your wheels, working harder but not necessarily more effectively. When you take inspired action, you find yourself in the right place at the right time, connecting with the right people, and discovering opportunities that seem to appear out of nowhere. Inspired action usually feels energizing rather than draining. It feels like you're moving with life rather than against it. There's often a sense of curiosity, excitement, or anticipation attached to it. Sometimes inspired action involves doing things that don't make logical sense but feel right on a gut level. Other times it involves taking practical steps that you've been avoiding because they seem too difficult or scary. Learning to recognize the difference between fear-based action and inspired action is crucial for creating sustainable abundance. Fear-based action often comes with thoughts like, I have to do this or something bad will happen, or I should be doing more, or everyone else is ahead of me. Inspired action comes with thoughts like, this feels exciting, or I wonder what would happen if, or something is nudging me to try this. One of the most important skills you can develop is learning to listen to your intuition about financial opportunities. Your intuition is constantly receiving information about people, situations, and possibilities that your logical mind might miss. It might guide you to have a conversation with someone who ends up offering you work. It might prompt you to take a different route home where you discover a help-wanted sign in a window. It might suggest that you learn a new skill that becomes valuable later. The challenge is that intuitive guidance often comes as subtle feelings, hunches, or gentle impulses rather than dramatic signs or loud voices. Many people dismiss these subtle nudges as imagination or wishful thinking. But when you begin to pay attention to these inner promptings and follow them, you'll discover that your intuition is actually quite reliable and often leads you to beneficial opportunities. Sometimes inspired action involves saying yes to opportunities that feel a little scary or outside your comfort zone. Growth and comfort rarely occupy the same space, and financial growth often requires you to stretch beyond what feels familiar and safe. This doesn't mean taking reckless risks or doing things that feel completely wrong. It means being willing to explore possibilities that feel both exciting and slightly challenging. Other times, inspired action involves saying no to opportunities that might look good on paper but don't feel right energetically. You might turn down a job that pays well but would make you miserable. You might decline a business partnership that seems profitable but involves people you don't trust. You might choose not to pursue an opportunity that would require you to compromise your values or overextend yourself. This ability to discern between opportunities that are truly aligned with your highest good and opportunities that just look attractive requires both inner wisdom and practical discernment. It's helpful to ask yourself questions like, does this opportunity energize me or drain me when I think about it? And would pursuing this bring out the best in me or require me to be someone I'm not? And does this feel like it's moving me toward my goals or just keeping me busy? As you become more attuned to inspired action, you'll also become better at recognizing patterns and connections that create financial opportunities. You might notice that certain types of people always seem to know about good opportunities. You might discover that particular environments or events are fertile ground for making valuable connections. You might realize that your unique combination of skills, interests, and experiences positions you perfectly for opportunities that others can't see or access. Creating multiple streams of abundance is often a natural result of following inspired action consistently. Instead of relying on one source of income that you have to protect and worry about, you begin to develop several ways that value and money can flow to you. These might include your primary work, side projects, investments, creative endeavors, or service-based activities. Having multiple streams of abundance creates both financial security and energetic flow. The universe seems to love variety and creativity in how it delivers abundance to us. Sometimes money comes through expected channels like your regular paycheck. Sometimes it comes through unexpected channels like a tax refund you forgot about, a gift from a relative, or a freelance opportunity that falls into your lap. The more open and flexible you are about how abundance can reach you, the more ways the universe can support you. This openness also applies to the forms that abundance can take. While it's natural to focus on money, the universe often provides for your needs through other means as well. Someone might offer you exactly what you were planning to buy. You might receive services, information, or resources that save you money. You might discover free or low-cost alternatives to expensive solutions you were considering. When you recognize and appreciate abundance in all its forms, you strengthen your overall prosperity consciousness. Now, as you begin to implement these new practices and follow inspired guidance more consistently, it's important to understand how to maintain your new abundance vibration even when challenges arise. Life will continue to present you with situations that test your commitment to prosperity consciousness. Your job is to develop the skills and strategies that help you return to abundance thinking quickly when you notice yourself slipping into old patterns of lack and limitation. The first thing to understand is that temporary setbacks or challenges don't mean you're doing something wrong or that abundance isn't working for you. Every person who has created sustainable prosperity has faced difficulties, disappointments, and unexpected obstacles. The difference between those who ultimately succeed and those who give up is how quickly they can reset their energy and refocus on possibilities rather than problems. When financial challenges arise, your immediate response often determines how quickly you can move through them. If you panic, become angry, or start telling yourself stories about how nothing ever works out for you, you create resistance that actually prolongs the difficulty. If you can stay calm, look for solutions, and maintain faith that this is temporary, you often find that problems resolve much more quickly than expected. This doesn't mean pretending that problems don't exist or forcing yourself to feel positive when you're genuinely concerned. It means acknowledging challenges honestly while choosing to focus your mental and emotional energy on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. It means treating setbacks as temporary detours rather than permanent destinations. One of the most helpful practices during challenging times is to remember evidence of your resilience and resourcefulness. You've survived every financial difficulty you've ever faced up to this point. You've found ways to solve problems, meet needs, and move forward even when things seemed impossible. This track record of resilience is evidence that you can handle whatever comes up, and often in ways that surprise and delight you. It's also helpful to remember that challenges often redirect us toward even better opportunities than we were originally pursuing. Many people can look back on their lives and see that losing a job led them to find better work, that a failed business venture taught them skills they needed for later success, or that a financial setback forced them to make changes that ultimately improved their lives significantly. Quick reset techniques can be invaluable when you notice your abundance vibration dropping. These might include taking a few deep breaths and remembering 3 things you're grateful for, reading or repeating affirmations that reconnect you with possibility, or simply asking yourself, what would someone who trusts in abundance do in this situation? Sometimes a brief walk in nature, a conversation with a supportive friend, or a few minutes of meditation can shift your energy back to a more positive state. Building a consistent abundance practice is like building physical fitness. The stronger your abundance muscles become through daily practice, the easier it is to maintain your positive vibration even when life gets stressful. People who meditate regularly tend to stay calmer during crises. People who practice gratitude consistently tend to find silver linings more quickly. People who work with abundance affirmations regularly tend to bounce back from setbacks faster. Celebrating small financial wins is another important aspect of maintaining your abundance vibration. Many people dismiss small improvements in their financial lives while focusing on how far they still have to go. But acknowledging and celebrating incremental progress actually accelerates your overall transformation. When you find an extra $20 in an old purse, save money with a coupon, or earn a small bonus at work, take a moment to feel genuinely excited and grateful. These celebrations send a signal to your subconscious mind that you're moving in the right direction, which motivates it to look for more opportunities to succeed. They also reinforce the neural pathways associated with financial positivity and abundance. Over time, this creates an upward spiral where small wins lead to bigger wins, which lead to even bigger wins. Surrounding yourself with people who support your abundance journey can make a tremendous difference in maintaining your new vibration. This doesn't mean you have to eliminate everyone from your life who struggles with money, but it does mean being mindful of how much time you spend listening to complaints about lack and limitation. When you're trying to establish new patterns of thinking, you're more susceptible to being pulled back into old patterns by the energy of others. Look for opportunities to connect with people who have healthy relationships with money, who think positively about their financial futures, and who celebrate abundance rather than complaining about scarcity. This might mean joining new groups, attending different types of events, or simply having more conversations about possibilities and opportunities rather than problems and limitations. As we come to the end of our time together, I want you to take a moment to appreciate how far you've already come just by being here, just by opening your mind and heart to new possibilities around money and abundance. The simple act of listening to these ideas with curiosity and openness has already begun to shift something inside you. The old patterns of thinking that have kept you stuck are already beginning to loosen their grip. You now understand that your relationship with money is really a reflection of your relationship with yourself. You've learned that the beliefs you carry about money were mostly learned from others, and can be unlearned and replaced with beliefs that serve you better. You've discovered that abundance is not just about having money, but about recognizing and appreciating the many forms of prosperity that already flow through your life. Most importantly, you've begun to understand that you have the power to change your financial reality by changing your inner landscape. This isn't about wishing or hoping for things to be different. This is about doing the real work of healing old wounds, releasing limiting beliefs, and consciously choosing thoughts and practices that align you with abundance. The transformation you're capable of might happen quickly, or it might unfold gradually over time. Either way is perfectly fine. Some people experience dramatic shifts in their financial lives within days or weeks of changing their money mindset. Others notice subtle improvements that build momentum over months or years. There's no right or wrong timeline for your abundance journey. What matters most is that you're committed to treating yourself with love and respect, that you're willing to keep practicing new ways of thinking even when old patterns try to resurface, and that you trust the process even when you can't see exactly how things will work out. The universe has infinite ways of bringing abundance to you, many of which you couldn't imagine or orchestrate on your own. Remember that every time you choose an abundant thought over a scarcity thought, you're rewiring your brain for prosperity. Every time you appreciate money instead of resenting it, you're shifting your vibration. Every time you treat yourself as worthy of good things, you're sending a signal to the universe about what you're ready to receive. Your financial transformation is not just about you. As you heal your relationship with money and begin to prosper, you give others permission to do the same. As you model healthy abundance, you help break generational patterns of lack and struggle. As you share your gifts and talents from a place of prosperity rather than desperation, you contribute to the healing and well-being of the world. I want to leave you with a truth that I hope you'll carry with you always. You are inherently worthy of abundance. Not because of what you do, not because of what you achieve, not because of how hard you work or how good you are, but simply because you exist. The universe created you as a being capable of receiving and enjoying all the good things life has to offer, including financial prosperity. Take a deep breath now and feel that truth settling into every cell of your body. You are worthy of abundance. You deserve financial peace and security. You are capable of creating prosperity in ways that feel good and aligned with your values. The universe wants to support you, and you are ready to receive that support. Let this be your new affirmation, your new truth, your new beginning. I am worthy of abundance in all areas of my life. Money flows to me easily and joyfully. I am grateful for all the prosperity that surrounds me, and I am open to receiving even more good things. I trust the universe to support me, and I take inspired action to create the financial life I desire. I am safe, I am loved, and I am abundantly blessed. Go forward now with confidence, dear one. Your abundance journey is just beginning, and the best is yet to come.